welcome back to We're the Batman. I'm Mike.
And this is Matthew.
All right, it is the end of the month, which means it's time for another Batman breakdown. And as you guys know, we're going back through the Batman Bat family origins year one. We're going back through all the year ones, basically. Yeah. We've done years 1 through 3 for Batman, and now we can move on to the other characters. We're talking about Robin year 1 today. Before we get into that, couple things. First of all, yes, Superman set photos. We're aware. We know. Look, in just a couple of weeks, we are going to hit the 1 year out mark from Superman being released. We were already planning on doing a what we know so far roundup for the 1 year out mark. So
yeah,
we'll get more. We will dive into all of it hard when we reach that point. Especially because since they're now actively shooting there in Cleveland, 3 hours away from me, and it's taking everything in me to not go there. I could be there right now, Matthew.
Yeah. And I wanted to show everybody something. Look, my pants fit, but then when I lift my leg, they move. It's like it's cloth and it's not skin tight because I want to be able to lean and move around.
It's almost like James Gunn wanted his Superman to be able to like wear his suit
and move around
and move in it. You know what I mean? It's like when they did the redesign for Christian Bale's bat suit. You know, like when they have the line in the movie where Lucius Fox says, "You want to be able to turn your head." That was a request from Christian Bale after Batman Begins. He was like, "Hey, this sucks." And nobody knows that better than Michael Keaton because of his famous stiff shoulder turns.
Well, and don't forget, pre-crisis, a lot of the stuff, Superman's mom made his suit. Somebody made the suit.
That's a whole plot point. Yeah, that's a whole plot point in Lois. That comes back in Lois and Clark even.
Oh, man.
A lot, actually. That actually comes up quite a bit where like his suits get destroyed and he's like, I gotta call mom.
What do you think's more horny? Superman and Lois and Clark, The Adventures of Superman, or Batman Forever?
The correct answer is Star Trek Enterprise.
Fair.
Star Trek Enterprise is the horniest show that has ever existed on broadcast television. That is the horny, and you can sit here and throw your Grey's Anatomies and your Rescue and your Station 19s and all your whatever you want at me. You've clearly never watched an episode of Star Trek Enterprise. Is all I'm saying. Horniest show.
I haven't, but now I have to watch it.
It was a Star Trek show made for UPN.
Okay.
And if you know anything about UPN was the horny network in the early 2000s.
That's fair.
Anyway, but so we've seen them. We think they look great. We'll dive into it more in a couple of weeks because Lord knows there's going to be a lot more that are popping out between now and then.
Yeah.
So stand by.
Ultimately, he looks like Superman. He looks like Superman. It's Superman.
It's a good looking Superman. We'll talk more about this in a few weeks. Other thing I want to get to, it has been confirmed. We knew the show was coming. We knew Lanterns was coming. We knew that was happening. That was part of the initial announcement. Well, it's officially been greenlit by HBO, not just by Max or D. That means it's going to hit TV. It's going to get the House of the Dragon treatment. It's going to get the Last Week Tonight treatment. It's going to get the
My Adventures with Superman
treatment. It's going to get the Euphoria treatment, where it's going to air on TV and then hit streaming. That means they are putting money into this project. Especially evidenced by the fact that we've got Damon Lindelof is one of the people. I forget the other names. I don't have it in front of me, but one of the people attached to writing this thing. So we knew that we got confirmed that they hadn't been secretly in production like we thought they might have been, but it seems to me like now production might start be happening soon, or at least pre-pro.
And the other thing that makes me think about is like, look, Marvel's films and their shows live on DC Plus. I'm sorry, Disney Plus.
I was about to say, check that.
What am I talking about? Disney Plus.
Yeah.
They're not anywhere else.
Mm.
DC's not doing that. You've got movies. Well, they have movies that are in the theater. This is going to be on HBO. You sure there's somebody? So there's no telling where stuff that's considered DCU is going to end up showing. Considering this, I mean, I know HBO and Max and HBO Max blah are the same, but I think
it makes a difference. It makes a difference if they're greenlighting it for HBO, if they're willing to actually, because the whole point of making a show for streaming is low risk, high reward, lower cost. You don't have to pay for the distribution. You don't have to pay for things like that. With HBO, that means they're willing to put the money into it.
Yeah.
So that they're not doing that with Creature Commandos. Creature Commandos is going Max. So
far.
But in all honesty, like Penguin's just going to Max.
Yeah,
that's not going to be on HBO, and that's coming off of that's coming off of the Batman.
Yeah,
but Lanterns is getting a green light from HBO. That's big.
Yeah. So I'm curious to see if some of this other stuff will drop on, look, Tubi, Amazon, like a lot of the DCFU movies are on Tubi now. They're just popping up there. They're on Netflix. They're all over the place.
Though, everything's on Tubi.
I mean, yes, but my point,
the roof is on Tubi.
That's not a bad idea. But I'm just saying, like, it'll be, I'm curious to see if this means we're going to start getting stuff everywhere.
I think they have to. I mean, that's part of the reason why Batman Cape Crusader, by the way, check out our reaction to Batman Cape Crusader up on the channel. The trailer, I should say, not the show. It's not out yet. Check out our reaction to the show that hasn't come out yet. But that's why it ended up on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Was, they're being picky and choosy with how they're distributing stuff. Putting it on Amazon gets them a little bit of extra money back on the show. So yeah, I think right now they can't, I don't think Warner Brothers or DC can afford to isolate themselves on Max.
Yeah.
Disney can take the hit. It's Disney. Yeah. But DC being under remember, DC isn't in debt. Warner Brothers is in debt. We want to be clear here. DC's fine. I mean, DC's doing what DC do, but Warner Brothers is the one that's struggling. So they're the ones that have to front this check. So, and I think Peter Safran being the money behind a lot of these DC projects, I think he's just, he's the producer. He's basically in charge of the business side of things. And, he's been James Gunn's business. He's worked with James Gunn on like everything for like ever. So I think it's smart to just let them go to the best place where they can get out. If it's not on Max, I mean, that sucks. Get them there eventually. But if they need to do a run somewhere else, get it out, man. Just get the stuff out.
And again, it may do like what it does with some of these other things. It premieres on Saturday, hits Max on Sunday, or whatever. So
yeah, or I think House of the Dragon, like as soon as it premieres on HBO, you can watch it on the app. I think. Yeah. Last week tonight, I think you have to wait until after it airs. I think it just depends on the show, but we'll see. But anyway, so that's cool. More, hashtag John Boyega for Jon Stewart. And with that being said, let's get into Robin Year One. I'm just gonna go ahead and say, good book.
Oh yeah,
not my favorite, but good book, real good.
Well, having read Batgirl Year One, I did not realize that Chuck Dixon and Scott Beatty, I think is his name. Beatty.
Yeah, Beatty.
I did not realize that they had been a team to do all these things.
Oh yeah. These two have worked together on a.
Yeah. So they do, they do Batgirl Year One, Robin Year One. Then there's one I didn't even know existed, which is Batgirl and Robin Year One. Mm-hmm. But I'm trying to look up if they do Nightwing Year One.
I'm looking right now. I don't think so. I think Nightwing Year One was somebody else.
Nope, it's them.
Is it them? Oh, you're right.
The different person is Scott McDaniel illustrates it, which makes sense since he's the one who kind of.
That's what I'm thinking of. Okay.
Yeah, Scott McDaniel, he's the one who did, he's look, I have a feeling if it wasn't for his art, Nightwing may not be the character he is now as far as predominancy.
That's fair.
Um,
Totally fair.
is that
Well,
a word?
Robert Campanella, he's done a ton of stuff with DC. I
Yeah.
mean, I've seen him and Marcos Martin's another name I see pop up a lot. I feel like we've mentioned him before. So
Yeah.
Give me because you've always been Dick Grayson's your guy.
Yes.
So even though this is not Nightwing year one, this is still essentially Dick Grayson year one. So why don't you take the lead on this one, man?
Well, I mean, I think I've been reading Batman and Robin comics and cartoons and movies and all the content for years and years and years. So there's certain things that are part of that lore that they mention. So like Nightwing, anytime he runs into Two-Face, he gets super pissed because he remembers how he had treated him. So to see that realized in this book, because, up until the, early 80s, Dick Grayson was Robin, and then after that, he's Nightwing. So he's been Nightwing for almost 40 plus years. Yeah. So you don't ever see the interaction between Two-Face and Dick Grayson that much as Robin, and that's why in Batman Forever it's the Robin versus Two-Face thing. Like that's a big kind of contention between those two. So to see that actually in action, but also like
actually, real quick, I got a question for you.
Sure.
Do you think that's why? Because I've always wondered why they chose to fold the Robin origins together for the redesign of Batman the Animated Series. And I know we always talk about them folding in Tim Drake and Jason Todd, but do you feel like the Two-Face stuff that was in that origin episode kind of pulls from Robin year one a little bit?
No, just because Robin year one hadn't been written yet.
Robin year one is right.
2003.
You're right. Yeah.
Like these are all early 2000s. Yep.
My math is off. My math was off. Never mind.
I'm there with
you. Well, then I wonder if it's vice versa then.
It could be a mixture. But I mean, I really
I'm sorry. Yeah, no, yeah, you're right. That is interesting. Yeah.
But
sorry, you said that and it like blew my mind and I was trying to wrap my head around it. And I was like, oh God, no, wait, he's right. Yeah, no, okay, never mind. I'm dumb.
Yeah. So these year ones are like early 2000s to late 2000s.
Okay.
It's the Batman year ones that are all like from the 80s. You're not dumb. You're just a baby. You're just a little baby.
Okay, I am only 10 years younger than you.
I thought it was 15.
Shut up.
But I love Dick Grayson's Robin because there's a bit of not an arrogance in that like he's a pompous prick, but an arrogance of like, I can do this.
It's confidence.
Yeah.
It's confidence. He to quote Adebayo from Peacemaker, he was made for this shit.
Yeah.
I just rewatched Peacemaker.
And I think that's the thing I think we forget in a way is like he was fully capable as a Robin and really young, but still willing to do what he had to do. So to see him taking on some of these guys and, he beats Blockbuster.
Bruh, he raffle stomps. He beats that man hard, man. Yeah.
So I know.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just think seeing this story and reading this really made me go, no, like that first season of Young Justice, I've always liked the Robin, but they definitely nailed that version. Like that is Dick Grayson as Robin in that show.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I think the good and bad of Batman the Animated Series is you don't get young Robin. He's college Robin.
Yeah, you get. I see what you mean. You don't get Robin as a kid. You get kid Dick Grayson a little bit, and you get Robin in college.
Yes. So I think some of that early teen.
That's true. Yeah. Never thought about that. I guess as a kid, for me growing up, I never associated it that way because I just was a kid. Robin was there to be my avatar in the show. So. But you're right. Yeah, we never actually do see young Robin in Batman the Animated Series,
for Dick Grayson,
or young Dick Grayson, I should say. Yeah.
So I loved it, dude. I really was impressed with the writing. I really like the art.
I loved. I still think my favorite moment in this book. It's fairly early on, but it's when Bruce goes to drop Dick off at school for the first time. And he's like, "Are you sure you want to go to, like, I can get you to a private school, like, no problem." He's like, I mean, like, I get that you want to just like have a normal life. He's like, "Oh, dude, it's the chicks, man."
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, I look, man, I'm trying to get hella laid, okay?
Yeah.
Because that's Dick Grayson. Dick Grayson thinks with his schlong at all times.
He's got a good track record.
Yeah, you want to ask what's the horniest show? Whatever one Dick Grayson's in, honestly. Yeah, but yeah, I love, because we get this in we talked about this when we talked about Batman Year 3, which is the good stuff, the actual, we get to see the training, we get to see, like, when we get the proof of the pudding, this is them continuing to show their work. I almost feel like I feel like Chuck and Scott read Batman Year 3 and grew up, or not grew up watching, but watched Robin's Reckoning, and were like, let's do more of that.
Yeah, let's tell that story.
Let's tell that story.
Him becoming and solidifying his place as Robin.
Yeah.
And the thing I really, really liked about this that I don't think I've ever seen addressed in any other thing is the fact that Gordon's like, "Come here, Batman, come here. What is going on with this boy?"
Yeah.
And if you hurt him, I'm dropping you off a building.
Comes up a lot in the book, which is good. I mean, it comes up mostly through Alfred, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, because I do want to talk about that. But yeah, like, they make it pretty clear, like, hey man, like, just so we're clear,
yeah,
SNL wasn't far off. Like, like this is kind of not okay. Like you alone is bad enough.
Yeah. Even though I do think it's funny, and I know I'm fast forwarding way, way far at the end, is that point where he's, talked to Batman, they've got a blah, blah, blah. And then that very last end, when Barbara Gordon's there and Robin's looking at him, and he's like, "Don't even think about it, boy."
I picture the scene in Austin Powers Goldmember when Mini-Me is a humping Foxy Cleopatra's leg, and Austin pulls out the squirt bottle. No, off. Yeah. It's like you want to roll up the newspaper, like,
yeah. I just thought it was funny. Don't even think about it.
No. I will say this book gave us a nice little kind of like rotating door of some characters. We saw some Mad Hatter. We saw Dr. Leslie Tompkins. We get Mr. Freeze. I mean, the League of Assassins are a big part of it. Barbara Gordon, like you mentioned, Two-Face. Like, it is kind of a little bit of a cavalcade of like, there's some world building that happens. Not so much world building as just like the world around us exists in this one. Like, it doesn't feel small or anything like that. Like, it feels big enough within the Batman mythos.
Well, and it's telling a story that probably takes place over months. It's a full maybe year.
Like, I dare say a year. It's called Robin Year 1, although Batman Year 3 was called Batman Year 3, but we talked about that already.
Even Year 2, it's like an extended weekend.
It's true. Yeah.
Like it's so seeing this progression of him, seeing him train, seeing him learn what to do, what not to do, realizing what he has to do to Two-Face and defeat him. It's just really cool to see, like, number one, good storytelling, but two, a character I like getting even more fleshed out and looking really cool.
And speaking of things that get fleshed out, this is chronologically, and I can't speak this to a lot of the OG comics just because I wasn't present for them, but the relationship between Alfred and Dick in this is really on display. There's the whole, like, because there's a lot, because obviously, because Alfred narrates the whole thing. I will say one criticism: Alfred's narration, a little hard to read.
Yeah,
a little hard to read.
Different font.
Yeah, I loved what they were going for. Loved the attempt. A for effort. Little hard to read. I say that as somebody that makes social media graphics for a living. A little hard to read. But because to me, because that's, when we talk about the current run on Nightwing, like how that all started with Alfred passes, leaves his fortune to Dick, so I love the more we get to, because we all know about Alfred and Bruce's relationship, and we all love Alfred and Bruce's relationship. 10 out of 10, no notes. But obviously, Alfred had a relationship with anyone who worked in that cave, and so the more we get to see of that, the more I'm happy. Especially Dick Grayson, the long lost surrogate son, as it were. The what's the Bible story?
Prodigal son.
Prodigal son. Thank you. Yeah, the prodigal son who comes back. Like I want to see, and again, I haven't read it yet, so don't spoil it for me. But like, I want to see if there's more of that in Nightwing Year One or Batgirl Year One. I want to see. Let me know down in the comments. Are there other books I can read, or Matt, can you recommend some to me later on? I want to see more. I'll say this: that was one of the few things that Gotham Knights video game got right. Was the relationship between Alfred and the rest of the Bat family.
Yeah.
The game was still trash, but that part was good. So seeing how obviously Tom Taylor took inspiration to that and pulled from some of this for his run on Nightwing, definitely, like, give me that in a bowl and I'll eat it up. Like, it's the best part of all of this.
Yeah. I think the only thing that I'm moderately sad about and has nothing to do with this comic is I really do miss Nightwing and Batman not getting along. It makes this story even more tragic. The fact that there was, in our lives, decades, but in the comic years, where like they wanted nothing to do with one another. Yeah. And to see how close they get and where they came from, and then you end up seeing that. Now they kind of touch it a little bit here, and I think that may be that kind of the replacement.
Yeah,
because now it's like Bat family. There's no real antagonism between the two of them.
Who did that actually not bad was Batman Brave and the Bold.
Yes.
Not bad. Not great. Not enough. But that episode where it's Robin in Bloodhaven before he becomes Nightwing.
Yeah.
Where he's just trying to do his own thing. Like it's like you see a little bit of it. And obviously there's a little bit of it in the redesign of the animated series.
Yeah.
We need to find a better term for that. We just really do.
Batman animated series season 4. That's what it is.
Anyway, but yeah, but because that Nightwing is not vibing with Batman.
Yeah.
In that whole show. Now, granted, he's only in like 4 episodes and only has dialogue in 3 of them, but that's a whole other thing. But like, he's not, and because we also get the backstory of the Fallout too.
Yeah.
In a good episode and a great, and if you can ever find the graphic novel version that's like super extended, good stuff. I liked this book. I didn't love it, and it wasn't like it did anything wrong per se. It was just like, oh yeah, this is good and interesting. Don't know if I necessarily need to come back and read it though. I don't know how often I'm going to revisit this. Like, I'm glad I read it, but I don't know if this is one I'm going to go back to very often.
Well, see, what I want to do now, and I'm checking on this right now, Robin and Batgirl, is that because I've read Batgirl first, like this leads into this, like Batgirl Year One is like 2 or 3 years after this. So now you've got mid-teen Robin.
So the Wikipedia has the continuity. So this story takes place after the events of Dark Victory, which neither of us have read. That's the sequel to the Long Halloween. Yeah. It's on our to-do list. The Gauntlet, which is the one that comes after the Gauntlet, was the one that was that the one that was, or no, the Long Halloween Part 3 hasn't come out yet. But what was the Gauntlet?
I have no idea, to be honest with you. That sounds, I don't recognize that.
It leads directly into this and can be read directly after Dark Victory. I guess it's just another story arc. Who cares? Your Robin Year One revisits several events previously established, also by Chuck Dixon and Robin number 0. in connection with the 1994 Zero-Hour Crisis in Time crossover. However, since Batman Dark Victory and its predecessor, Batman The Long Halloween, changed the early continuity of Batman, some aspects are inconsistent with its prequels, such as Gordon being only a captain and Two-Face's like that. This story was created by the same creative team that later worked on Batgirl and Nightwing Year One. Okay, so it was right there on the Wikipedia.
Okay, cool.
So you just scroll down.
Yeah. So I'm curious to read Batgirl and Robin and Batgirl Year One, because the story, because there's as much as
the actual book Robin and Batgirl Year One. That's
yes.
an actual title, by the way. That's its own separate title. Is that on the app?
Yes.
Okay, cool. We'll get to it.
Yeah, because Robin Year One, and then like I said, I've already read Batgirl Year One.
Okay.
There's a bit of a through.
Okay.
Because Batgirl Year One, in my opinion, takes place like 2 or 3 years after this. Because in that one, Robin riding a motorcycle. So he'd have to, I guesstimate he'd have to be old enough to have to drive a motorcycle. But yeah, at the same time, he's fighting crime. So who knows if we're going by laws.
To be fair, it served as a sequel to Robin Year One. I thought that's all it says.
But no, I mean, my point more is that there's definitely like some time that has passed.
Well, obviously, yeah, because she's Batgirl, then time has to have passed, because she doesn't become Batgirl until later, right?
Yeah, like she's Batgirl
like Robin's grown when she becomes Batgirl ish.
This is where you get into the weird timelines of
you're right.
Like he's still smaller than her. He is still younger than her in year one. And I don't want to get into it because it's some comedy gold and greatness.
Yeah. So it gets, let's just say it's kind of like Padme and Anakin. Don't look too closely at the ages.
It's not quite that bad.
Not quite that bad, but don't try to do the math. You're going to give yourself, you're going to make your eyes go, make yourself
minimum, in my opinion, it's minimum 3, maximum 5.
Yeah, but it's more of like just trying to do the math, trying to figure out the passage of time in the DC universe is nearly impossible. The only one that it's easy to do is Constantine, but that's because they cheated.
Well, and then also there was a timeline, but
well, I just meant because Constantine canonically ages in real time. That's actually legitimate. Like canonically he ages in real time. It's some demon blood, it's some fourth wall demon blood bullshit. The reason he looks the way he does is because of some other, like, that's another podcast.
But yeah, I really love it. I think it's, if you're a fan of Nightwing, if you're a fan of what Tom Taylor's doing in Nightwing at the past couple of years, this is a perfect kind of,
I agree,
compendium.
Companion.
Okay, companion.
Let's go with companion. That works.
To that, and especially when you Batgirl Year One, they kind of go. You're telling the progression of these characters. It's. I can't recommend this enough. I think it's really cool. But at the same time, like, if you're into this character, if you don't care about Dick Grayson or Robin, neat. That was fun.
I like Dick Grayson Robin, not to the degree that you do. And also, by the way, real quick, great art.
Oh yeah.
So the art is really good art. Really good art. We didn't talk about it hardly at all. Great art in this book. Really good. Really, I recommend reading it. It's worth the read. It is 1,000% worth the read. Depending on your love for Dick Grayson, you may or may not revisit this. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, but that's more of a personal taste thing. That's not necessarily a problem with the book. So, but yeah, I'd say, like Matt said, if you love what Tom Taylor's doing with Nightwing, if you love that Alfred stuff, then this is for you. This is for people who love the Bat family, not the Bat family, the Bat family. The one that Dom Toretto would be super proud of. Yeah. Anyway,
let me add this real quick.
Yeah,
it's also it's a young adult book. anybody can read this. There isn't anything really dark or crazy or violent or sexual about anything. So if you're looking for, like, my kid's 11, he could easily read this. There's no problem. I'm not worried about it.
Like I wouldn't let kids read year 3. Or no, you know, well, I definitely wouldn't let them read year 2. Year 2's messed up.
And year 1.
Oh, for sure not year 1. But I mean, I was thinking like year 2, the Reaper like straight up guts some people.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is, I mean, because it's Rob in year 1. It's about a kid. It's meant to be, I mean, this is meant to be Alfred's kind of like just hoping that he did a good job with Dick. You did, buddy. You did good. This anybody can read this one. This one's great.
Yeah.
So yeah. If you guys have read Robin year 1, let us know down below in the comments. If you're watching this on YouTube, we'd love to know what you think. Let us know online. Also, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram at WATB Pod. Hate it. You can find me on all the social medias at Mr. Mike Shea.
You can find me on Twitter at Mr. J Ninja.
That'll do it for this week's episode of We Are the Batman. We'll see you guys again next time. Same bat time, same bat podcast channel.
Bye-bye.